Today we are going to make a vitamin C facial cleanser. For that we're going to need some vegetable glycerin, to which I am going to add my preservative. We're using Preservative Eco. I get this from aromantic.co.uk, and we're mixing it in with the glycerin because it's just better added this way. It helps it perform a bit better. So we're going to do that. And then also to the glycerin we are adding our Solagum AX. If you haven't got Solagum AX then you can use Xanthan Gum Soft, but I do suggest trying to get it because it does make a silkier, less clumpy type of thickener. So we're mixing that in really well to create our slurry. The next stage of phase A is our water phase, and to that we're adding our vitamin C, which is sodium ascorbyl phosphate. This is a water-soluble, shelf-stable form of vitamin C that's easy to formulate with, and it's good for sensitive skin. It doesn't degrade and it can improve the appearance of the skin, has lightening properties and acts as an antioxidant. And it's very readily water-soluble, as you can see here. So we just mix that in until it goes completely clear. And then we can add our water and vitamin C into our glycerin, thickener and preservative, and then just mix that really well and it will create a sort of gel-like consistency. We may need to change the pH a bit later on because the optimal pH advised by manufacturers for this type of vitamin C is around 7. But we also want to keep above a pH of 6 to avoid discoloration. So mix that in and then we'll move on to our surfactant phase. For surfactants, I've got AOS 40, which is a mild anionic surfactant that cleanses and foams, and to that I'm adding cocamidal propylbutane, which is a mild amphoteric surfactant that aids viscosity and it helps with lather and to make the formulation more mild. These do give a bit of foam to our facial cleanser, but they're also really gentle and it just cleanses really well. So I like using these for both body wash and a cleanser. So add your surfactant mix to the water phase. You can add these directly to the water phase, but for the purpose of the video, just so you can see the viscosity of things and the texture of ingredients, I like to separate them out a bit for you. So I'm mixing that in now. It does take quite a while to mix in, and the viscosity will be quite good at this point. Then I decide to use some water-soluble dye and stupidly put in a purpley pink colour when this was supposed to be orange, so you'll see me correct that later. But you'll see how nice the amethyst water-soluble dye from Soak Rochford behaves here in this formulation. So there's a little plug for them. And then we can add our phase C ingredients, for which I've used fragrance oil. You can use any that you like, and also some oat hydroglycerin extract. This is an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and it can help with infections. So if you do have acne or something like that, it can be quite good for that. And then I add a bit of orange water-soluble dye just to try and get this to the right colour. This will clear up after time as well, so that looks really vibrant there. But as the mixture sort of becomes more translucent the next day, it will be quite less vibrant. So this is just a 250ml bottle I got off Amazon, and we're just going to pour our solution in there. I should have mentioned before I poured it, I did check and adjust the pH. If you need to adjust it up, you can use a sodium hydroxide and water solution, or you could use L-arginine. That's also another good option. For more on pH adjustment, you can see my dedicated video on that. That's on my channel. I'll try and remember to link that below. So once you've got to the pH to around 7, you may find that the viscosity thins out a little bit. If it does, then you can use salt with this particular formulation to thicken it back up. Just use 0.5% at a time until it's the right kind of consistency. Just be careful you don't go too far because it can thin it out again. I do have more information on this in another video. If I can find it, I'll link that below as well. This is me just testing it out to show you the lather. It's kind of a nice kind of lather if you don't use any kind of sponge or anything. It's nice and gentle, and if we use one of the sponges, you'll see how much foam we get from this. So technically you can use it as a body wash as well. It's just that little bit milder because we've got a lower surfactant ASM for this because it's for the face. You can also omit fragrance if you don't like having fragrance on face products. The star of this really is the vitamin C, and that's why we've made this. So I hope you like this formulation. If you do want a copy, you can find that over on my Patreon linked below, where you'll get exclusive content and also all of my formulas to date that I have put on there, including all of my YouTube formulations as well, and you'll get a downloadable PDF for the recipe to keep. Thank you to my existing patrons, including my VIP patrons listed here. If you do want more face wash or body wash formulas, then I suggest checking out this playlist here.